Welcome to this week's Rise with Michelle. Healing does not always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like interruption. And that can make you feel like you disappeared from your own life again. So, today I want to talk about something that happens in healing that nobody really prepares you for, and what happens when healing interrupts your life. I had to step back recently, not by choice, but my body made that decision for me. The rashes, the reactions, the discomfort, the uncertainty, unknown pulled me out of my normal rhythm. And if you've ever been in a healing journey, you know that moment. The one where you're doing everything right, you're showing up, you're committed, and your body still says, slow down, your labs are stable, your autoimmune markers are negative. And that space can feel frustrating in a way that is really hard to explain. And it's not because you don't understand it, but because you actually do. You know the language, you know your patterns, you know what is happening, and yet you still find yourself face to face with the same question. Why does this feel like I disappeared again? This is part people do not talk about, the identity disruption. Symptoms are one thing, the story they trigger is another. The old survival voice gets loud, the part of you that learned to push, to manage, to keep going, to hold everything together. The part that quietly asks, what if I cannot sustain the life I'm trying to build? And I know that voice very well. I've lived inside protocols and uncertainty, progress, setbacks, appointments, dismissal, hope, all while trying to build a meaningful business and still be present in my own life. So when I talk about the in between, I'm speaking from inside of it. And here's what I'm learning again and again is that interruption is not failure. It's just refinement. It's here to teach something. Healing is not trying to just stop your life, it's trying to change the way you live inside of it. Maybe slower, more honest, less driven by survival pace. Because survival creates patterns that look like strength, pushing, overriding, not stopping, being the one who holds everything together. But becoming requires something different. It requires listening without abandoning yourself. It requires staying when uncertainty shows up instead of trying to outrun it. And this is identity work, not fixing symptoms, not chasing the perfect protocol, changing the way you relate to yourself when healing feels heavy. And that shift changed my work because the people I work with have done considerable amounts of therapy, energy work. They already understand their patterns. Therefore, self awareness is really not the problem. And I consider myself to be very self aware, but sometimes the loop continues and certain things continue to show me areas of my life that could still use some deeper work. And that is why I created Rise to reclaim, inspire, strengthen, and empower, not as steps to follow perfectly, but as a way to move out of survival identity and into becoming. We look at the patterns that protected you, we understand why they exist, and then we create a space for a different way of being to emerge, not to force and rush you, but to just to integrate it. So if you're in a season where healing just feels heavy, where you feel like you keep disappearing from your own life, where you are doing everything right and still wondering why something deeper has not shifted. There is nothing wrong with you. You are in the space where identity is changing. It will continue to change as you continue to evolve. And that space matters more than you realize. And if you want to experience this work in a much deeper way, the Rise Experience is happening live March 9th. It is designed specifically for this space. If this speaks to you, you can message me Rise for the details and I'll send them over. And if you can't attend live, still register. You will have access to the replay. So see you next week, same space, same heart. And until then, we're not broken, we're in the in between and still rising.